Okay, we are live. This is Albert.
And this is Abraham.
And this is AA Ringside Podcast, coming to you live from the road. I'm actually on the road right now. I'm doing a little bit of traveling. Had to take care of some stuff, but there's so much going on that Abe was like, dude, we need to record. And I was like, okay, I'm on the road, but you know what? We need to talk about what's going on.
And I'm also, I'm in the comforts of my home, which is, pretty awesome.
Bastard.
But the show must continue.
The show must go on. Speaking about the show must go on, what the hell happened to Supershow Down? See what's going on?
I don't know. I just feel like Goldberg was a little bit too rusty in his last match. Who the hell is Mansoor? And
Mansoor.
I don't know. Mansoor. I don't know. It was just like a weird pay-per-view, and they had built it to be like better or the same as WrestleMania, and it was like bullshit.
It wasn't. It really wasn't. I will give them props. It was shorter than WrestleMania, so it was a better sit down. Like it was a lot more enjoyable because it was shorter. But this overall pay-per-view, a lot of people are describing it as a glorified house show, and of course, them doing the WWE dealing with Saudi Arabia, like, of course, that's putting a lot of bad taste in everyone's mouth, but the overall show, it was really weak. There was some good highlights. Of course, we'll talk about the Goldberg and Undertaker match, but overall, I could have lived without it.
I just think also like the weather was interfering. I know Michael Cole had commented that it was like over 100 degrees over there. So imagine being 100 degrees, having to fucking wrestle someone else in sweaty weather, and it's like it's terrible. It's like these guys are used to being indoors, at least some type of air conditioning or like room temperature. Like this is outdoors. There's no controlling that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure that definitely had a factor into it. Apparently the air went out, but overall, like, I can't really say I had a big highlight there weren't too many highlights for me. So to answer your question, Mansoor, if I'm pronouncing that correct, he was the WWE prospect that they picked out in Saudi Arabia during the first show that they had, the greatest Royal Rumble.
Gotcha.
He was one of the 4 or 5 gentlemen that were picked out from Saudi Arabia. So it was actually nice to see him win. I'll be real with you. I wanted to see Elias win. I'm a big Elias fan. I want to see him being pushed to the moon and back. But it was nice seeing, a hometown hero win something as incredible as that, showing the people that, hey, I was able to do my dreams, you can do it too. That was awesome.
Yeah, I feel like, it's a feel-good moment for the people in Saudi Arabia. Apart from that, nothing's really stood out on Super Showdown for me.
No, nothing. I could have lived without seeing Shane versus Roman. Nothing special. I kind of liked, what's his name? Braun versus Bobby Lashley.
That
was kind of cool. I wish I would have seen a little bit more.
Yeah, it's understandable,
Cool. Let's see, what else happened? I'm not gonna lie. I wish I would have seen something with R-Truth and the 24/7 title. It's been really entertaining. At first I thought it was a dumb idea. I didn't like how it was all presented, but now I think it's one of the highlights of what WWE has going on. This 24/7 title, and R-Truth is he's a genius. I love him. He's entertaining. He could be the 24/7 champ for me forever. If it was up to me, I'd have him as the
forever champion.
He'd always be champ in my eyes.
But it was fun what they did with the 24/7 title in the plane and on the golf course. And now they're starting to get real cool. Diverse with it. Jinder Mahal was sleeping, for God's sake, sleeping. And I have a feeling that what's the general manager of 205? What's his name? Rockstar Spud. Drake Maverick.
Oh, yeah.
I have a feeling he's gonna end up having a little run with the title too, with the help of AOP. I've been seeing it. They've been putting up signs and following Carmella and everything behind the scenes. I think with the imminent return of AOP, he's gonna get some intimidation to get that title, at least for a little while. Cause the guy's talented. Yeah. And he got beat by Matt Hardy's son.
50? Really? I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, in Impact Wrestling about a year ago when they did the broken stuff.
Oh, I see.
He faced King Maxwell in a match and he lost.
Interesting. So the 50-man battle royal, which apparently it was technically a 51-man battle royal. I forgot who was the extra man, but apparently there was. It was cool. It was cool. It was entertaining. They had some good spots there. I just wish that those type of battle royals, whether it's the 50-man one or the Andre the Giant battle royal, I wish those meant something. You don't have to crown someone a champion, but I wish it meant something, or there was some sort of continuity. Unfortunately, Mansoor, he won it. It was a great moment. It was a highlight, and then that's it. No one's gonna talk about it. It doesn't mean diddly squat. It's not like he gets a shot for any of the belts, So it's kind of a shame that they'll do something that big. I think it's one of those things that they're gonna have this big show in Saudi Arabia. They're gonna get a lot of money. They need filler, and hey, why don't we put all these guys who they just sit around? They sit around and do nothing because we don't utilize them. Let's just put them all in one big old match. So it's a shame that those battle royals, those type of gimmick matches, they don't really mean anything, unfortunately.
Yeah, Braun Strowman is gonna end up being the longest Saudi Arabia champion of all time because he got that green title at Greatest Royal Rumble.
That's true.
And where is it? He's been champion basically a year plus.
That's true. Now let's talk about the main event. I was extremely hyped to see this. I did everything in my power to be available to see Goldberg versus Undertaker. I get it. Everyone was like, no, they're 50 and above. They're way past their prime. But I wanted to give them a chance. I follow Goldberg on Instagram. He's a very active dude, into a lot of mixed martial arts and things like that. And he was awesome. It was awesome seeing him last time around in WrestleMania 33. And Taker, it's always a blast to see him, even though he really is past his prime. And seeing this match go down, I was so hype, and I just wanted to see them kick each other's ass and just have a good time. Unfortunately, it was a letdown, but it wasn't a letdown because
I don't think it was a letdown because they were old. I think it was a letdown because Goldberg fucked up.
Well, look, it's not necessarily he fucked up. To a degree. So, essentially what happened, for all you that are not aware. So, when Goldberg usually comes out, he's been doing this little ritual since he was wrestling in WCW. What Goldberg does is, before he comes out, when he's in the room and they knock on the door, he smashes his head in the locker. He's been doing that apparently since his football days. He comes out, and live while he was coming to the ring in Saudi Arabia, you see that he ended up cutting himself, so he started bleeding a little bit. No big deal, seen that before. So he comes out, Undertaker comes out, and they start the match. Starting the match, it was decent. It was going somewhere. Goldberg hits 2 spears. It was awesome. Taker was about to hit choke slam. I don't remember if he did it at the beginning. And everything was awesome. Where everything went a little crazy was Taker was on the turnbuckles, and Goldberg was going to run to hit the spear. He missed, and he busted his head. I don't know if it was the turnbuckle or the actual post. I don't remember what it was.
Hey, I think it looked like he hit the turnbuckle. I think he hit the turnbuckle, not the actual post at the back.
Yeah. So the moment he showed a little color, you can tell that lights were out for him. And he's a trooper to keep on going, because the same thing happened to Taker WrestleMania 30. But they should have called the match right then and there. Someone, because I think Goldberg hit Taker with another spear, and Taker hit Goldberg. I think he ended up giving him a choke slam. I think after the choke slam, that's it. It should have ended right there.
Yeah, after that, they did a tombstone, and then he hit a spear, and then he hit a choke slam just to end it. You can you can see the referee kind of like look over to him and tell him like, listen, that's it.
Yeah, like a lot of people are going back and forth whether it was Taker's fault, it was Goldberg's fault. I wouldn't put it on that. I think it was just they should have one of them should have ended it quickly. Goldberg seemed to be concussed. Taker didn't have enough energy in him to do a tombstone, because in all reality, like, Taker could have ended Goldberg's. Well, I'm pretty sure after this it would have been over for them anyways. But Taker hit Goldberg with the tombstone, and he literally landed him on his head. And then later on, Goldberg with the jackhammer fucked that up completely. And even the choke slam at the end, it was terrible.
It was sloppy.
It was very sloppy. Like, they should have just called it. And
you know what I thought was gonna end up happening in the match? I thought it was gonna end up being where, like, they're midway through a match, and then let's say I knew they weren't gonna do this, but like, let's say like the Revival or a jobber team was gonna come out and try to attack these two dudes, or like, let's say like Sanity, or I mean, they're not together anymore, but you know what I mean, like, get an up and coming team, give them the rub, make this into a tag team match with the Undertaker, and have this over with. You know, it would have been better for both dudes, you know, and you know, it just would have been just like a better thing. These guys are old. You would have had them blow a little bit, one or the other. You know, have Shane or Mr. McMahon or even Stephanie come on and be like, hey, whatever, you know, this is going to be a tag team match, blah, 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 and end the show like that. Have both guys on the same squad. Always they have to bury the WCW guy, just like with Sting and Triple H. I feel like Sting should have definitely gotten the rub off that match, man.
Oh, for sure. Be real with you. And sorry if you hear a little bit of noise. It's starting to rain, and nothing I can do about that. But I think the person that would have been perfect to interfere in the match, even though it wouldn't have made any sense for the sake of the match, but just for the sake of covering the fuck up, Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar should have came out. Think about it. Brock Lesnar and Taker have had beef for the longest time, and he was the one that took the streak. Goldberg and Lesnar had beef too. So it would have made sense to a degree if Lesnar would have came out and just did something.
I mean,
just kind of cover up the little pothole, you know?
I mean, that would have been like someone breaking their head and then someone putting a Band-Aid on it. I mean, I don't think that was gonna help much. He's the winner of the Money in the Bank. I don't think that would have been any sense. People would have been more confused than anything else, I think.
I mean, people were already confused with Money in the Bank. Like, if you're gonna pull something like that, like, be consistent. Fuck it, like, you know. But at least it would have. Unfortunately, I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm pretty sure Goldberg would want at least one more match to kind of just erase that last match a little bit. But I think not only is it time to call it quits for them, but I think Vince is gonna pull the plug on both of them.
Yeah, I don't think
WWE.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna pull the plug on Taker, because Taker's Taker. But I don't think they're gonna give any more matches to Goldberg of that caliber. I feel like if he comes back, it might be for next WrestleMania, and that's it. You know, all right, a low rub, and that's it.
Well, the thing is, if he wasn't concussed, or he didn't knock himself out, because he did admit on Twitter that he did knock himself out, and he apologized to the fans and everything. But I believe that if that didn't happen, and if he didn't bust his head open to begin with, like before even entering the ring, which he shouldn't have done, but whatever, I think it would have been a decent match. But the thing is, everyone has to take notice. Taker, like always, looks gassed out.
Yeah.
Completely gassed out.
Yeah, I don't understand. He said he's ready when he's ready. I think they're just gonna stretch it out until this next WrestleMania.
Of course. Anyways, unfortunately, I was really hyped to see it, and it was cool seeing both of them just in the ring square up. But unfortunately, we didn't get that match that we always wanted, and now for sure we're definitely never gonna get. If there was any hopes of Sting versus Taker at a big show like this, forget about it.
Yeah, they're not gonna put Sting in the position. He already fucked up his neck. You know, he probably has one more in him, but I don't think they're gonna take the spot. You know, especially with Taker at his age. I feel like if Taker has another match, it has to be to rub off on a big star in a big way, and that has to be it. Like, it can't be Roman Reigns. It has to be somebody up and coming. I would take Finn Balor and the Demon, and that would be my final answer.
Okay.
If I had
Aleister Black?
Well, Aleister Black it kind of like leans more into like exactly how Undertaker is. I mean, almost exactly how Undertaker is, but I feel like the Demon has that essence more than Aleister Black has that essence.
Gotcha.
Like, even in the entrance, when he does that entrance, this is just like, wow. It's just like the Undertaker's entrance. When you first see it the first few times, it's like, wow. You know, this is his thing.
Yeah.
And especially that now that the Demon is like a special attraction, only comes out WrestleMania and you know, all these other nice events.
So now, what's going on the other side of the pond? What's going on with AEW and New Japan?
I mean, Jon Moxley everywhere, basically. He's your new IWGP champion after beating Juice Robinson, which I feel really bad for. He's in AEW. He took the rub from what's his name? Kenny Omega. He got the okay from Jericho. He was on the podcast. Everything is revolving around Jon Moxley, formerly known as Dean Ambrose. I feel like it's all about him right now.
Hey everyone, so this is actually the second part to the current episode. Essentially, long story short, after technical issues, after scheduling issues, after so many issues that we faced recording this episode, I decided to break this episode into two parts per se. Pretty much, the show must go on. For this episode, I'm going solo. Abe will be around next time. And where we left off, we were talking about Jon Moxley. Everyone's talking about him. And you have to talk about him. He is white hot right now. He is probably the hottest property in the wrestling industry since probably Jericho did the same thing about a year or a year and some change ago. What he's doing, I think, is phenomenal. I've loved him in the WWE when he was Dean Ambrose. Wasn't given enough creative freedom and time and space to be whatever he needs to actually be. And he's been kicking ass so far in AEW, in New Japan. He's already the U.S. champ in New Japan, and I'm so thrilled. I'm so excited. I can't wait. He seems like a creative individual. Since this whole hype and run that he's been having, he's been doing all sorts of interviews, which he doesn't normally do. And it's just, I don't know, it's just so fascinating to see what he has in store for all of us. I'm excited. I definitely got to see his match against Juice Robinson, and be real with you, I loved it. It was great. It was raw. It was gritty. It got bloody. He bit the motherfucker's face off. Juice Robinson threw himself off of the entrance. It was just brutal, man. It was just a brutal fight. That's what I would like to call it. It was a fight. It was just awesome. I got to see bits and pieces of his second match, and it was amazing. Just from what I saw, and we're gonna transition to Dominion. Be real with you, this is I think one of the first few Dominions that I've actually seen, and it's just a far different product from what we're used to in the WWE. It's New Japan Pro is definitely a different type of style of wrestling. But man, it's for those who've never seen New Japan. If you think, oh, wrestling's fake and whatnot, please watch New Japan Pro. Seriously, go watch Dominion. Go watch the Naito versus Ibushi match. Naito German suplexes Ibushi and almost snaps off his fucking head off his neck. Seriously, go look it up. I won't describe it anymore. Naito versus Ibushi Dominion. This past Dominion 2019. Go watch it. Wrestlers don't have to take those types of risks in order for me to be entertained, but you can't knock this shit. You can't knock wrestling, honestly. Anyways, just if you're looking for an alternative, New Japan Pro's there. AEW is going to be there. I'm super excited. I am just counting on the days until they're on TNT. I personally am going to Fyter Fest. I'm trying to also be there in the audience for Fight for the Fallen and All Out. I feel really good saying that because wrestling is becoming cool again. Everyone's talking about it. Everyone's excited for what's going to happen, especially with AEW going to TNT, going head to head with the WWE, or to a degree. And it's not only those two companies, but everyone else are popping up and still staying through, like Impact and Ring of Honor. And it's just an exciting time to be a wrestling fan. There hasn't been this much excitement since the 90s or the early 2000s. And it's a really good time, especially when the mainstream media is covering wrestling even more. And it's taken seriously, like a legitimate sport, like it should be. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Stay tuned for what we got in store with this channel. I'm super excited. We're going to pump out more episodes. We're going to produce more content. We're trying to go to all these cool wrestling shows and produce content from there. But in order to do all these cool things, we need your support. So please follow us. Subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram. We're going to come out with all cool little things, but we just need your guys' love and support. Anyways, guys, this has been Albert from AA Ringside Podcast, and we'll see you in the next one.